Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Subhabakar. Guten Morgen from Salzburg, Austria. One of the most beautiful cities in all Europe and arguably the most expensive city in Austria. Salzburg is famous for many things, including its historical background in art and music and lavish Baroque-style architecture of the houses that were built shortly after the World War II. Mirabell Palace was built in the 16th century by Prince Archbishop for his beloved mistress Salome Hall. But for those who are classical movie enthusiasts, most of these places might look familiar because these gardens and most of these places were used for the set of the classical film The Sound of Music. Speaking of old classics, back in 1985, the film Amadeus swept the Academy Awards and won 8 Oscars, including the Best Picture. The movie was about a famous 18th century classical music composer, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Why is this relevant here today? Salzburg is also the birthplace of Mozart, and up until today, there are so many places here that constantly remind us of his legacy. Another famous place is the Lovelock Bridge over River Salzburg. The couples put their initials on a padlock and throw the key in the river. There was also a well like that in Nuremberg. I don't know, these Europeans just like to put locks and everything. Kind of ironic. It does look kind of nice though, with the sunlight bouncing back from these padlocks. Also, the river is called River Salsa, which is roughly translated from salt or something, because one of the major exports of Salzburg was salt. There's a lot of salt. There's salt mines as well, which you can visit. And Salzburg is also roughly translated from the city of salt. For those of you who are not familiar with Mozart, you're definitely familiar with Red Bull. Austria is also home to one of the biggest multinational energy drink company called Red Bull, which probably goes hand to hand with an old legend of Salzburg and the authentic bull washers. According to the legend, back in the 16th century, Salzburg came under siege. But when the thick city walls of Salzburg successfully withstood the initial assault, the besiegers had to rethink their strategy. They decided to stop the people of Salzburg by completely encircling the city to cut it off from the outside world. No more food made it to the city. Soon, the food warehouses were empty, and all the cattle had been slaughtered, except for a single bull. That's when the commandant came up with a clever ruse. At dawn, they took the bull to the top of the city wall, then paraded it back and forth right in front of the enemy's eyes. The same ritual was repeated the next couple of days. However, during the nights, the people would paint the bull with a different color, creating the impression among the besiegers that there was still plenty to eat behind city walls. Well, as you can imagine, assuming they would never be able to starve out the city, attackers decided instead to pack up their belongings and head home. Now heading to K3 Grass Street, Austria Arcali. Is a very thin street which has loads and loads of commercial buildings, restaurants and shops and all that. And what's interesting about that is all of the shops have this handmade old iron logo. Even the most huge brands like McDonald's had to adapt to this style, aesthetic maybe. I think there is a local shop which designs these logos, and they still make these logos by hand, keeping up the tradition. You can also take like a walking tour in the city, because Salzburg is probably one of the only cities that is a walkable city. So all of the attractions and historical buildings are on a walking distance. So there's like a ton of walking tours. I've already seen like at least three within this street. Another interesting thing is that even though there's like all of these commercial shops and restaurants, these buildings are residential. So all of these floors from second above are the original houses of the people who live in there from 15th or 17th century. Like medieval caps and stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, these for the women, like these kind of thing. It's not like medieval, but it's like 20th century soldier stuff, gentleman, lady, that kind of stuff. And we have also the hats over here. This is what we wear for like festivals or graduation, stuff like this. Yeah. Do you like that kind of style, or you like the old style?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe kind of like the Sherlock Holmes kind of era.
Yeah, that would be. There we have the printed ones.
Oh wow!
You like them?
Yep, these are really good.
Okay, I'm glad.
I have got my digital antique Anno 1900 photos, which turned out really good though. There is the Mozart monument. Even though Mozart might be gone, but his legacy is still huge in the city of Salzburg. There are restaurants, museums. They turned his home into a museum where Mozart was actually born. St. Peter's Abbey is considered one of the oldest monasteries in the German-speaking area, with a continuous history since its foundation in the 6th century. The restaurant here is probably the world's oldest functional restaurant, with the opening ceremony dating back to the year 803 AD. The world map might have looked a lot different back then, but this restaurant was still here. This will look very spooky at night. And when visiting Salzburg, you cannot ignore the Hohen Salzburg Fortress that stands in the middle of the city, overlooking the whole city. It is at least 9 centuries old, so 900 years old, and it has never been conquered. Look at that beauty. There are multiple ways to go up to the fortress. Some shorter ones are like steeper,
and the other ones are not so much. I have taken a steeper one. I swear to God, if this is the wrong way, I am screwed royally, because there's like a lot of passages. This is like a maze of like really small streets that lead up to there. I have taken a few turns. I just picked the steeper one. Hopefully that leads to the fortress. If not, then hello? Is the fortress that way? Or?
Town?
No, for the fortress. Right, okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So, I was right. It was that way where we did not go. So not always the steeper one. When you see the fortress, just walk towards it. Yep, that is it. Salzburg Fortress also, Salzburg I think makes, oh there's a car. There's a cable car thingy that you can take, so you don't have to hike all the way up. Huh. Okay. For the next time then, perhaps. Hello. Man, no wonder this castle has never been conquered. The hike to get up here.
I think it's safe to say that among many other interesting things, the Salzburg Fortress offers the best views in the city. Not only limited to just the views and aesthetics, there are a lot of smaller places within this fortress to visit. Not to mention what could be a better place than the walls of this mighty fortress to sit back, take a break, and enjoy some Austrian food. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, take care, keep exploring, and I will see you in the next video.